What is up, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Sam, and today is a Super Bowl bust for the Dallas Cowboys. Getting straight to it. As you see right here, I'm an ultra Dallas Cowboys fan, so this is going to be a very emotional, very emotional video for me. Very frustrating video for me because I don't know what the hell we're doing here. I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are doing here. If you're not a Dallas Cowboys fan, you could pretty much put this as Dallas Cowboys fan complaining for however long this video is. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, I hope you understand. Just thinking more of the team. If you like some players and you don't like my opinions about them, I'm sorry about that. But let's get straight to it. Expiring contracts after this year. Expiring contracts: Dak Prescott, DeMarcus Lawrence, Brandon Cooks, Zach Martin, CeeDee Lamb, Brian Anger, Osa Odigizua, Cooper Rush, and Rico Dow. I'll go one by one here. Dak Prescott could get up to $60 million. Actually, that's all I'll say about Dak Prescott because I have a whole other thing to talk about him. DeMarcus Lawrence, one of our best rushers, could get lost in the backfield sometimes. Could just rush up and just, where the hell is everybody? And everybody's behind him. But still, very big impact on this defense. Still one of the leading sack leaders on this team. Of course, a huge part of this. Brandon Cooks has played very, very well with Dak Prescott, since, coming over here from Houston, has showed out, has big games, and just really been the only other separator besides CeeDee Lamb. Of course, being a smaller body, can't really separate too much that well, but, sometimes when the play calling is really, really well, he's able to separate and get a nice open route. Dak Prescott is there to set him up for a touchdown or a big play. Zach Martin, one of the best guards in the game. What can you say? I would say this was no way in chance, no way at all, that Zach Martin will ever leave the Dallas Cowboys. But after seeing that Tyron Smith just left the Dallas Cowboys, if he went somewhere that was willing to pay him a lot of money, like you say, I would say, because he wants to win. I believe that he wants to win. And if I'd say the Lions, the Packers, if they had somehow a good amount of money to say, hey, we need you to protect our young quarterback that can go. If somehow, some way, the Chiefs open up some sort of money, hey, we need you to protect one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time that can actually win you the game, would you do it? If I'm Zach Martin, I'm saying hell yes, and going over there. But I would hope that he would be one of a top priority for Dallas. But at this point, I don't know what Dallas is doing. CeeDee Lamb, it came out today that they're really, really, that's what they're focusing on more. They're focusing more on CeeDee Lamb's contract before Dak Prescott, after they said that they're really, they might be figuring something out. And then a few days later, we're really focusing on CeeDee Lamb. You know what that tells me? We really try to push Dak Prescott a contract. We probably try to offer him $30 million, $35 million, maybe $40 million a year instead of the $60 he can get. And he said no. That's what it seems like to me. It's like, all right, now, CeeDee Lamb, how much do you want? You want the Jordan Poole contract, or you want a little bit less? Pretty much. That's all we're getting from that. Brian Anger, I hope to God we can bring him back. If we can't bring back a punter, what makes you think we can't bring back everybody else? Osa, I think we should be able to bring him back. Cooper Rush, I think Trey Lance can end up being the backup quarterback. Hopefully, we traded for him for a reason. Hopefully he can step up and do something at this point. Rico Dow, I think we'll be able to bring him back. But most of these problems, it is Dak Prescott kind of deflating, not showing up in playoff games, is the defense just completely disappearing after being one of the best during the regular season. Mike McCarthy being an incapable coach, not being able, to time manage well, just being a bad coach in general. But to me, all of this goes back to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones not being able to be a good owner at all, keeping coaches longer than they should have. Jason Garrett was a coach far longer than he should have been. He should have been fired. He should have been gone a long time ago. We missed out on so many other coaching options because Jerry Jones just decided, you know what, we're going to be 8-8 and we're going to be a goddamn first round exit. But Jason Garrett is our guy because he used to be a goddamn former backup quarterback for the Cowboys. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Mike McCarthy. Oh, he beat our team in the playoffs multiple times. We can keep him. I know he can do it. No. The man got fired, didn't have a job for a while for a reason. People don't have jobs. When people get fired and don't have jobs, it's usually for a reason. And sometimes they even show that they don't even want a job. I can't even remember his name from the Pistons. You know what I'm talking. I can't remember. It's gonna pop up later in my head. But Jerry Jones. What the hell are we doing? And then now these contracts with CeeDee Lamb that, we're not giving the money. He's not going to show up and stuff like that. We can't have another Terrell Owens. We can't have another Des Bryant situation in our hands. If we do not pay CeeDee Lamb, who in the world is Dak Prescott going to throw to? Who in the world is he's going to throw to? Unless this is part of your negotiations deal that, CeeDee Lamb doesn't play for the season or something, and then Dak Prescott doesn't look too good. So, we can, Dak Prescott, he had a low ball season, another first round exit. We fired Mike McCarthy. So, you know what? We'll offer you 40, 45. I know you're looking more for 60. We can offer you $45 million a year. You didn't have that good of a season. All right, we pay him $45 a year. Here you go, CD. Here's your quarterback. Here's CD. Here's your contract. If that's your plan is, Jerry, then you should just resign right now, because that's the stupidest thing. And now that the fact that I said it out loud is the stupidest thing in the world, and I hope you're not doing that. But I know I'm not saying you should give Dak Prescott $60 million just so easily, but you should give CeeDee Lamb the money he wants so easily. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league, top 3, top 5, however you want to say it. Oh, man. And then just get back to the coaching. Keeping coaching way too much longer. We hired Mike Zimmer after Dan Quinn just decided, you know what, we don't need to make any adjustments. We're just going to let defenses do whatever we want. We're just going to be a blanket on a bed and not do anything. Not do anything at all. Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, available head coaches, Arthur Smith, Cliff Kingsbury, available offensive coordinators, and of course you had Mike Vrabel, who's I think like the head, like an executive of the Browns, something like that now. Just many other options out there just to fill out something. What are we doing? I think I'm just gonna title this video, "What are we doing?" Everybody in the NFC is getting so much better, and Dallas is not. Eagles, Saquon Barkley hired a new offensive coordinator. Guess who? Former Cowboy Kellen Moore. You guessed it right. Defense is a little shaky, but Jalen Carter's just getting a year better. Of course, he's going to be a monster, and of course, we let him just slip all the way down the draft. Dallas, nope. Nothing. Commanders, another rival. I'm not saying the Commanders are going to jump up to the second spot, but with these moves and Dallas not making any, would we really be surprised? Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, former Cowboy, Tyler Biadasz, and they drafted Jaden Daniels, who I'm really high on, who I think is the second best quarterback in this draft class. And then rumors of trading for Brandon Ayuk. If this team trades for Brandon Ayuk, then they will definitely have the second spot because how great their offense is going to be. They're able to make these moves with the rookie quarterback deal. And if Jaden Daniels has Austin Eckler, a veteran in Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, and Brandon Ayuk, I think they could probably get second in the division. Those division games with the Cowboys, they do stake it out for a bit. Cowboys do end up winning most of those games. But with this, the offense being high-powered, what is Dallas defense is going to do? They can only do so much. They were barely struggling with Brian Robinson last year. What do you expect with Austin Eckler and all these other weapons? They're going to get ran through. And there's other teams that I'm worried about in the NFC. 49ers, Eagles, Rams, Packers, Lions, the Bears a little bit. It's just because I think Caleb Williams is going to be pretty good. And they got, pretty good weapons there. But the defense also I'm a little worried about. But I think they can make a possible wild card spot. And the Atlanta Falcons, just because of Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, who I'm really, really high on, who was, of course, another rumor that the Cowboys were going to draft and they were going to, trade up for Bijan Robinson. But I, I don't know with this team. I don't know what we are doing here. And all these rumors this offseason, I had made a TikTok or a short of this video, a video about this, of the Cowboys coming out before free agency and everything, saying, "Oh, we're gonna go all in. We're gonna do this. We're gonna we're all going all in this season so we can get that Super Bowl. Get that Super Bowl and finally do it." And I just thought to myself, and I said in the video, "What the hell have we been doing these past few years? What have we been doing? Like we've been winning. We're not winning, but we've been." Winning the division some years. We've been top of the NFC, top 3 team in the NFC. Are we just been doing that just to be a first round, second round exit? Is that what we've been doing? Is that what we've been doing? Of course, our worst years are when Dak Prescott's been hurt, but it's like, you telling me we're barely going all in right now? The years that we've been first in the NFC, the first that we just ran through the NFC East, you're telling me now, barely now, after we've lost most of our roster, now we're going to be going all in for a Super Bowl? I think it's just a few years too late at this point. And, rumors Derrick Henry's going to, everybody in the world is predicting Derrick Henry was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. He bought a house in Dallas, all this and that. And in my short, I said, don't be saying all this. Don't promise the world to the Dallas Cowboys fans and I that we're going all in and, we're going to go all in to win the Super Bowl and Ezekiel Elliott is your biggest signing. And the last time I checked, Derrick Henry is a Baltimore Raven and Ezekiel Elliott is a Dallas Cowboy. Which I don't mind Zeke. I love Zeke. Of course, one of my favorite running backs in the league. But him being your number 1 running back right now in 2024 is not it. It is not. He is a solid number 2, maybe a goal line, maybe number 3, but I'd say solid number 2 behind a Derrick Henry. I mean, I wouldn't see, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's what you say all in is going in? All in is not paying your quarterback, not paying your wide receiver, not paying your offensive lineman, letting Tyron Smith go to the goddamn Jets, and then you just sign and bring in Ezekiel Elliott, who you cut for financial reasons, and then proceed not to use any of the money at all? And then, just on top of it, you had the weapons, you have a top 3 wide receiver, and then you have a top 3 wide receiver right now, in my opinion, in CeeDee Lamb, and you traded away a top 15-ish wide receiver in Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick swap. I mean, I hope, it becomes something. They don't even the practice squad. I don't even know what they are, and if I did know what they are, it would be worth it. And obviously, I don't mean disrespect if they use those picks. I didn't even look up if they use those picks or not. If they weren't picks, because that's how much it doesn't matter. Because if we don't even know about these players, they would say, "Oh, this player was using this pick in the Amari Cooper trade." If we knew, that means they would be good. And the fact that we don't know, it doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean, because Amari Cooper got traded to the Cleveland Browns and had an amazing season. The Cleveland Browns did not have a quarterback until they called Joe Flacco, who was sitting on his couch and put up numbers all season, especially that Texans game where he absolutely murdered them. And you're telling me he can't do that with Dak Prescott throwing to him and CeeDee Lamb opening up the field, and then you have Jake Ferguson, who's really, become, I think, a top 5, top 10 at the very least, top 5 at the least, maybe top 10, top 10, maybe top 5 tight end in the league right now. You're telling me Amari Cooper can't put up numbers? I mean, I don't want to say it again, but what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? The past 4 NFC Super Bowl representatives. This past year, the 49ers. They've traded for CMC, made a big move, CMC, Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles traded for A.J. Brown, Super Bowl. The Rams traded for Matthew Stafford. Super Bowl. Of course, they did a few other moves, but Matthew Stafford was the big one. The Bucks traded for or signed Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Super Bowl. And of course, not all of them were success or 2 for 4. But if I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I would just at least be able to sniff the grass of a Super Bowl, let alone an NFC Championship. Those are all teams that were willing to make the moves. Because you're telling me this past few playoff resumes, this is what you want? 2023, an embarrassment. That's what I have in my notes. Embarrassment versus Packers. 2022, some injuries here and there, but I'm not going to throw injuries here and there because, the Cowboys did play good against the Bucks. And then Brett Maher couldn't make a damn field goal for nothing. It was like these weeks where he couldn't kick the ball at all. And the defense deflated. We had a huge penalty on Trayvon Diggs this game to where it really messed up the whole momentum of the game and really messed up the whole comeback, just allowed the 49ers to get down the field. And 2021, horrible defense not there, horrible time management and coaching. Of course, that's a little on Dak Prescott, but also just time management, knowing where you're at on the field and just you go for a slide and then spike it in the middle of the field with 0 seconds left. 2018, C.J. Anderson turns into goddamn Barry Sanders. He rushes an older C.J. Anderson, rushes for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. This defense was able to lock up Todd Gurley. Not lock up, but they were able to contain Todd Gurley. But C.J. Anderson became the best running back of all time against this defense. But we beat Seattle. And since 2016 to now, that looks like 2 playoff wins to me. 2 playoff wins. If anything, 2018 was the year for us because the Rams went on to that Super Bowl. I won't say we won, but that Super Bowl was boring. 2022, that could have been a year. That could have been the year for us. This year, I think, felt like more than the year of anything. Of course, we weren't that good against teams like the Bucks. Not the Bucks. The Bills, embarrassing game. Eagles in Philadelphia. That was just some badly, poorly called plays. I mean, Dak Prescott played amazing this season. Of course, he did have his ups and downs, like any quarterback does. But let me give you Dak Prescott's stats during this game. Packers game, it was a little stat padded at towards the end. He had 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 4 sacks. Of course, Jordan Love having 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 118 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. The defense, again. And I don't mean to put this on just the defense. Of course, Dak Prescott, some of those games, just quick three and outs. But it's also guys, if you don't see this, the Michael Parsons shirt, guys like this, when the moment's there, we're waiting for them to show up. They show up all season, but when the moment's there, they're nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. I know it's early in Michael Parsons' season, but you are one of the best defenders, edge rushers, linebackers in this league. And you're telling me you can't show up in some of those moments? You have some moments, but it's just where we really need you and we're really locking down on this game. Nowhere to be found. 2022, of course, this was the game against the 49ers. That was a loss. 206 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 1 sack. At this point, I think we've all figured out that the 49ers are just the Dallas Cowboys kryptonite, where it's Dallas in San Francisco, wherever. It's just Dallas is not going to win that game at all. In 2021, 49ers again, guess who? 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 sacks. Of course, this is just him holding on to the ball too long. And this, of course, the poorly time management and play calling by Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy. And 2018 against the Rams, 266 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack. It's just, they're all, if I had to say one word for Dak Prescott's playoff performances, I would say they're mid. Just mid. That's it. Not the worst, not the best. Just mid. Just mash games. Of course, You don't want mid games from a guy that you're going to pay $60 million to. But at the end of the day, who's gonna throw this ball? Who else is gonna bring you to these levels? Who else is gonna win you? Who else is gonna win you 11, 12 games during the regular season? 10 games during the regular season? I'm saying because if Dak Prescott leaves, what's next? What is next? You trade him away, and you're gonna have Trey Lance and Cooper Rush, who's another free agent. Trey Lance, who's gonna be up for a contract, and it's smart for the Niners. It's smart for the Niners to where Trey Lance is a young quarterback who was a top 3 pick, so he's going to get paid a lot of money. And, of course, I think those are going to have a lot of incentives and stuff like that. But I don't think Trey Lance could be the next quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, at least not yet. Or I don't think so. He can be the next quarterback. I'm sorry I can say that. I think he can be the next quarterback, but I don't think he would be a quarterback that'll lead us to the Super Bowl, and I hope to God that he proves me wrong. I hope, he does do this and they clip this and they use this because he proved me wrong. And then that means the Cowboys did something and they won. But then this video is just going to get lost somewhere and that's it. They're just not going to win. I would rather have paid Dak Prescott that money and be able to have a chance maybe, but where's the help? CeeDee Lamb is the only separator on this team. Jake Ferguson is, of course, good, but he can be spotty at some moments. We have an aging, not too old, but like an older running back that's who's only good for goal line work and the rest of it. We have a young running back in Rico Dow who runs hard, but is just not consistent. And Deuce Vaughn, is that what we're going to worry about? The man's 5 feet tall. I get it, it's a great story now, but the Dallas Cowboys are trying to, at least the fans are, we want a goddamn Super Bowl. We have the 49ers who've had multiple appearances in so many years, and they find the guy at the end of the last pick of the draft, and they're able to make moves because they have what? George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, one of, a little hole, the offensive line is not really all there. That's more of the weak spot. But also, you have Nick Bosa, one of the best defenses. Like, Dallas, can we see what the rest of the NFC is doing? The Packers are catching up. The Bears are coming up. The Lions are already past us. I can say that. They passed us already. What more do you want? What more is it going to take? What more is it going to take? I know. I really don't know what to expect from the Cowboys this season. Put this down. I don't really know what to expect from the Cowboys this season. I think, of course, to me, I think we could win the division, of course. That's just me being biased, if I'm being honest. It's just me being biased, but if I'm being all in all, I think we come in second, and if how good the Commanders are, we come in third. And for a team that said they're going all in the beginning of the offseason, that does not make no sense. And I don't know if Jerry Jones just wants a bad season so we can try to sign Dak Prescott for a cheaper contract, which is just dumb because some other team would sign him. And this is the narrative. I think I'm really harping on Dak Prescott too much, but I think he's an actually good quarterback. He's an actual good quarterback who has, bad performances here and there based on, sometimes other people and the people around him. But if Dak Prescott signs somewhere else to another team, he becomes underrated. He becomes, he's not in the shadow and the bad management, the bad ownership of Jerry Jones anymore. He's not this and that. He's not, he's not in the spotlight. And I compare the same spotlight of the Dallas Cowboys to the Los Angeles Lakers. I know the Lakers won championship more recently, but it's like the same thing. When you wear that gold and purple, it means something because of the history of it. When you wear those stripes, it means something because, they won. You had legends. Of course, like Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, all of them, the legends. But it's just when you wear that, there's so much of a spotlight and so much of a pressure because if you've shown that you can be an elite quarterback, just this past season, second in MVP voting, second all team pro, I believe, and just year after year has shown that he's gotten better. Top of the league in passing, top of the league in stats, and then if you see the stats that some years that Patrick Mahomes has had and Dak Prescott's had, his numbers are better, which makes no sense to me. Of course, makes sense because Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback, but It just doesn't make sense to me how much his winning is, and I just think he gets overly hated because of where he's at. If he goes anywhere else, I think he's underrated. He's this and that. If he becomes underrated, puts up the numbers he does, gets on the second round, maybe makes an AFC or an NFC appearance, you know who he becomes? He becomes Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. That's what he becomes. He just becomes them. I would say more Josh Allen because he doesn't have the MVPs. That's all he is, really. He's just the Josh Allen of the NFC. Somewhat. That's just my opinion. That is just my opinion right there. But Dallas, who's going to be the quarterback next? Who do you really want? If you think Shador Sanders is just who I like too, Shador Sanders is walking in that door because Cowboys got a top pick. I don't think so. If you really put it in Jerry Jones' hands, actually, I wouldn't actually would think that's exactly he would do. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to trade up, and he's going to get Shador Sanders, who I think could be really, really good. It's just a lot to work on, but it's just that much pressure on a young quarterback. I'm not even saying he's not even on the team, but just imagine that. Oh, your dad was a Cowboy. They traded up for you. He was a Cowboy. He won Super Bowls. What do you think they can do? Of course, they're going to not bring in, they're going to interview, Dion just to be like, oh, how did your son feel to be on the, same team you are and hopefully win and this and that. And that's just going to get, it's going to be like Bronny getting the coverage of, like how he's getting the coverage of being a Laker. But of course, I think Shador Sanders is going to be a lot more impactful than Bronny's going to be right now. But do I think it's Super Bowl or bust from how far we've come? Yes. I think the Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl or bust. I think they're even just second round. I just think at the least they're NFC Championship or bust. Let alone second round or bust. If we get to the second round, we were a first round exit this past year. Won the division, first round exit. What do you expect? What do you do here? But yes, I think they are Super Bowl or bust. I think hot seat. Mike McCarthy, hot seat. Dak Prescott, hot seat. Do I dare say CeeDee Lamb? Do I dare say? I don't say that. I would just say Jerry Jones not paying him or not. But to end this video, Dallas pay CeeDee Lamb for at least. If you're going to do anything, if you're going to let Dak Prescott leave, you're going to let him go do this, you're going to let him, not do anything, at least pay CeeDee Lamb so our next quarterback at least has a weapon to throw to. But comment down below if you think the Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl or bust. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.